right. Thank you very much. Very welcome to my talk. I did a slight change of the title. It's really just a minor change. Instead of 140 events, I now have 160 events. I don't actually like the title of my talk, so there should be the main topic of this talk is technology scouting, and you cannot find it in the title. So, but yeah, other than that, welcome to my talk. I will have, this talk is structured into 5 sections. In the first part, I will tell you a little bit about me, then about the backstory, how I came to give this talk. Then there will be some emerging patterns that I want to share with you. And in the fourth part, I want to dive a little bit into the theory of technology scouting. And then ending the talk with an idea and outlook on what's coming next. So first about me. In my professional life, I have to give answers. So that's why I created this AI slop with the exclamation mark. The exclamation mark is not AI slop. I just put it on the AI slop. So there's the creative side. And in my professional life, I'm a consultant. So I'm working currently as a data architect on a managing consultant level. And I've been in the industry for 6 years. My first 2 years were forensic analytics, which in the end was a bit more boring than I initially thought. So I switched to standard analytics. And I've been very happy there. So my focus in my professional life is on data platforms in an enterprise scale. So I'm supporting clients to build or modernize their data platforms. So this is about me and my professional life. Now the difference to me in my free time life, basically, outside of my professional life, is that I'm actually someone who likes to ask questions and to investigate, to inquire. So that's what I'm doing in my free time. I would call myself an applied technology scout, but like in the early stages of being an applied technology scout. And for that, I have authored over 180 plus LinkedIn articles. I have visited and attended 160 plus tech events, most of them in Berlin, but some also in other countries or other cities in Germany. I've wrote 2 books to share my experiences. The first book I called Europe's Sweet Spot for Software Architects, and the second one was Other People's Software Endeavors. Now I want to advertise a little bit for my book. You will later in the talk understand why. So here's a QR code that would lead you directly to the Amazon page where you could purchase this book. I also added some excerpts. This book has about 120, 140 pages. Amazon has some previews, so you can read the first pages for free. If you have Kindle, even more. Everything that could get me in trouble is not in those excerpts. It's in the book. So these excerpts are appropriately washed for this talk. Then a fun fact about me. I like airports. I like spending time at airports. If you ever see me on the Berlin airport behind the security, so not behind the security controls in the normal area, there's a 5% chance I'm flying on that day. 95% I'm just taking a walk and listening to some podcast. I wrote a book about it, about airports in German. So it's just a collection of stories. Yeah, that's about me. Now about the backstory, why I want to talk about technology scouting today at DevFest. So here, some timeline. I entered the data analytics job market roughly 6 years ago. It was right before COVID hit. And right after COVID ended, I started my technology scouting journey. And with this timeline going on, I think in 30 years I will be ready to start my galactic scouting exploration. Yeah, but until then, I think I will write a few books more, maybe found a company, and lose some friends, win some new friends. Let's see. So my approach is basically, I did not call it technology scouting. in the beginning because I had no term for it. I was just attending and documenting tech events. So I went to tech events like this one, like this DevFest. I took some notes, and then after the tech event, I basically at home, I wrote a short report and I published it on LinkedIn to share my insights. And I have visited most of my events in Berlin because I live here. But also when I'm traveling, I started looking out for events. So I was able to attend some events in Poland, Portugal, Estonia, Finland. And because I'm a consultant, I have to travel a lot inside of Germany. So I was able also to visit tech events in other German cities. And here on the screenshot, you can see my most recent event reports on LinkedIn. Yeah. So I stumbled upon the term vision. So big companies, they formulate a vision. Based on the vision, they develop a strategy. So I thought, okay, I would like also to have a vision. I formulated it right after I already attended a lot of events. And it was also the main goal I had. I moved to Berlin with an expectation. I wanted to experience the tech scene. I wanted to see the developers. I want to get in contact with them. And somewhere you have to start. And for me, visiting tech events was it. So that's also why I generated this picture, because for me, attending and documenting the tech events is my way of putting the flashlight at the second side of Berlin. So discovering the second TV tower, or making the houses where the developers are hiding visible to me and maybe to my colleagues on LinkedIn. Yeah. So here's two screenshots. My very first tech event report, which was actually about an event that was not in Berlin. It was in Hamburg. I'm a data professional, so my first tech event was naturally an event organized by DARMA, which is an American association for data management. And roughly 3.5 years later, I visited my 162nd tech event. That was last week in Frankfurt, when I was on a business travel to a client site. And this was an event that was a mix of tech and artistry. So in the beginning, I thought, okay, the artist is showing something that has no real life value, but at some point he mentioned something that actually has a value that is provided to a society beyond the inherent value of art itself. Yeah. So here you have an example report. That was my 11th report. It was the DevFest Berlin 3 years ago in Seabase, which is an event location that looks like or is supposed to look like a crashed spaceship in the middle of Berlin. And I think it kind of gives off those vibes. So if you go in there, it feels like a crashed spaceship, and I really like that. And some of the learnings I had there and some of the topics that were covered in the talk, I put here. So there's lots of things. When I started going to tech events, I was not aware before. So I'm not a Google Cloud developer, but there at this event I learned how you can become a recognized Google developer expert, because there was a Google developer expert actually sharing how to do it. There was also the topic of the carbon footprint. Yeah. And for me, to be honest, it was in the beginning a bit boring. I did not really care about the carbon footprint, but then there came the topic of money, and they said how much electricity you can save, how much installation time you could save with using more efficient data storage formats. So yeah, that's basically the backstory. When you're visiting 162 tech events, mainly probably already each week, you start noticing things. When you're publishing them on LinkedIn, you start noticing things, patterns emerge, and that's what I want to share with you right now. So the first thing I want to share is some standard operating procedure starts to establish itself. So there's a way of how you find out there's a tech event. For me, it's mainly Meetup. On Meetup, you can find most of the events, or for me, probably. I'm filtering just for the category tech event, technology. I'm also finding some events on LinkedIn, but very rarely. Some on Luma, because some organizers seem to want to move to Luma, all their events, maybe because it's cheaper or it's free, and sometimes even at Eventim. For me, I like to rise up early, so I don't like to go to bed too late. And that's why when I go to a tech event, usually before the talks begin, I immediately try to socialize with other people, talk to them, so I can leave right after the talks and have a normal sleep pattern. Yes, other than that, I'm listening closely to the talks and putting notes on my smartphone app. So that's why people usually, they see me sitting in the audience and looking up and writing and listening. I did this also today for 5 talks that I have visited. And then I also started taking pictures. So that's what I also did today. I will put them in my report so people see I was actually there. And I also like it because it makes the article a little bit more interesting. Then what I'm also doing oftentimes is adding the people who are giving the talks to my LinkedIn, because speakers usually speak also at other tech events. So you find out about new events, but you also get up-to-date information on the topics that they are moving forward. And yes, as the very last thing, I'm writing an event report. I call them event reports, and I publish them on my blog, which is currently basically my LinkedIn webpage. The good thing about those articles is they are public, so you don't even have to add me. You can still read them. So that's the standard operating procedure. For the event reports, I right from the start followed a certain format, because you can imagine writing 162 articles and always having to think about the structure again and again. I'm too lazy for that. So I wanted to reduce my mental load, and I thought of a structure. So each event report is structured the same way. You can see it here. When, where, hosting organization, participation fee, agenda, topics covered, and I've learned something today. And the most difficult part is the last part. That's where I really have to think. What did I learn? Sometimes I have to research because I took some notes, but I did not understand what the speaker meant. But yeah, this helped me a lot to actually write those 162 articles, because otherwise I could not have imagined keeping that. Another thing is, I'm a big South Park fan. That's my generation. And maybe you have noticed that the last point of my event report format is actually a sentence from South Park. That's not an accident, that's by design. So you see here, I've learned something today. And in the early episodes, they're not doing it anymore, but in the early episodes, what happened at the end of the episode, one of the children would say, I've learned something today. And I hope so that you all, so those of you who did watch South Park, did not only watch it for the twisted sense of humor. Okay.
How many events have they killed Kenny?
That's a good question. I like that. Yeah. So, but there were also real-life lessons hidden in those episodes. I remember talking to my friends and saying, this thing that I saw in school, that actually reminded me of what was in this South Park episode. And I mean, if you look at one of the learnings, like this one, the hybrid cast, just exchange hybrid cast with Gen AI, and I think it fits perfectly. So for me, that's what I'm noticing, that Gen AI is causing smugness in people, although it will change probably the world. Yeah, so that's what I basically, that's one emerging pattern. Another one is when you're publishing an article on LinkedIn, you're getting statistics from LinkedIn by default. One of the statistics you get is LinkedIn impressions. I think impressions means basically how often your post appears in the timeline of someone. Doesn't mean that they read it, but it just appears on the timeline. And my most successful article this year, by impressions, but also by actual article reads, was this event report number 138 on the Data Lakehouse Meetup powered by StackIt. StackIt is basically is a cloud provider that's based in Germany, and most of you know the company behind it because it's the same company that's behind Lidl. So for most Germans, they just call it the Lidl Cloud, although it's not the official name. And but there's a bias. So most people I know on LinkedIn, they work in the data world. So of course, people like to read more about data. But yeah, there's a hypothesis that you could make that in this year, data architecture and European sovereignty equals attention. This is something you could use to write articles that garner more interest than the typical article. I did not use it, but I noticed it, that there's something to see. Another thing is LinkedIn engagement. So that's another metric that's being tracked and shown. And for this presentation, I actually looked at it and noticed that I had a -8 engagement on LinkedIn at the 19th of February. And I did not know that's actually possible. So for me, I might have to look into my logs and check what happened on this 19th of February. Maybe, yeah, I did something that was not that good. All right. I wrote books about my journey. So of course, when you're writing books and you're publishing them, you get statistics on how often they are sold. And one emerging pattern is that if you're not doing any advertisement, of course, your book sales dry up. So the book sales that you can see are basically the times when I said, hey, I published a book to my network, and then I stopped talking about it, and I did not do any active ad campaigns, so book sales disappeared. The next pattern that I noticed is that even if you have an active ad campaign, it doesn't equal monetary success, or I mean success at all, when you do not know what you're doing. And I started an active ad campaign in the United States, actually because it's way easier and I don't have to provide too much personal data. And yeah, I spent basically $610 to generate $20 of revenue. So I might have to look more into the figures and maybe consult experts in it. Yeah, I like to just try and see what works and what doesn't. Another learning that I took is that writing a book that's about 120 pages takes time, but it takes less time than I actually expected in the beginning. And I wanted to calculate the effort I spent for writing my most recent book, which is other people's software endeavors. And I had to include also visiting the tech events, because this book is about 100 tech events. It covers the first until the 100th. And I roughly calculated, okay, visiting a tech event takes like 3 hours on average. And then documenting and publishing an article takes about an hour. So I spent 400 hours just for generating the story that then I would author and translate into English using ChatGPT and publish it. And that took actually 100 hours, and I just calculated, okay, it's about 500 hours. If I had worked in that time for minimum wage, it would have be enough money to, I think, go to a decent 2-week trip to Japan. So that's also something I have to take in mind when thinking about writing a new book or on spending further time on this endeavor. Another thing that's more interesting, I think, is I'm a data architect, so I'm working in the field of data analytics, and I was interested in geocoding all the tech event locations to just have a look, where's actually, how does it look like on the map of Berlin. So here you can see a map of Berlin. I noticed that most of the events happen in a certain area, and I knew that the Google office is in this area, so I just said, okay, that's the center, but I did not calculate it, so that would be a next thing I could do. I think there's like distance metrics you can use and algorithms to determine what's the actual center, but I think Google, they knew what they were doing when they decided to have the location right at that green dot. And I also looked, for example, at the 50% closest tech events to the Google office and the ones, the 50% farthest to the center. And even if you look at the 50% that are farthest to the center, it's still very close. So if you want to go to tech events, it would be good if you live close to Alexanderplatz, basically, or the Google office. I mean, this might be a pattern that you could observe in other cities too. Would be interesting to see if you want to look at tech events in, I don't know, London, then maybe they are also close to the Google office. And if not, then it would be nice to know why not. Another thing that I noticed is, this is actually only 2 instances that it happened, but it seems like people or agentic workflows misidentify me as the event organizer because I wrote an event report. And while writing the book, I also thought about it, and usually the people who write a report about an event are actually the event organizers. So it's not very uncommon. Even for this Dev Fest, it seems that part of the organizers thought, okay, I'm actually about organizing events, although that was not true. I don't consider myself to be a community builder. I'm more like, I would say, a community observer. All right. Now, after I shared my experiences in the past, I would like to delve a little bit into technology scouting theory. So I was already attending, documenting, publishing those event reports for 2.5 years until I stumbled upon this term. And it was only actually by accident, I would say, because I went through the recruitment process at my current employer. And when I told him about this whole journey that I'm doing, he directly called it out as technology scouting. So I thought, okay, let's research a little bit. And I stumbled upon this paper of a professor who actually was based in Berlin. He now moved to Paris and is ignoring my LinkedIn connection request. But I read I read his paper, and in here he actually defines what technology scouting is. So it's a method that can lower the time lag between the advances in technology and the detection by methods, by other methods. The ones he mentions are patent or publication analysis. So when reading through his paper, he was naming strong points for technology scouting, and he was mainly making 2 strong points. The first one is early stage detection. So here I put a quote of him. It says that the strong point of technology scouting is its ability to detect advances in technology at an early stage. Alternative methods, as already said, are publication or patent analysis. They usually have a natural time lag of 12 to 18 months. And I added my thoughts to it because I'm thinking anything that you read online on new technologies must cross some kind of barrier. It can be an algorithmic search barrier, like the Google search. It can also be other barriers, like there's a public relations department that does not want you to share too much about the new technology, or that wants to curate the content and then just publish it. So there's a lag, there's a barrier. And maybe the communication about the new technology is not engaging. Maybe the person who's communicating is a brilliant engineer, but does not know how to make it, how to put it in words so you actually want to listen to it. And then you are not detecting it. And for me, it was, I had also the scenario in mind. Maybe there's like a specific amount of talks that you need to give in front of an audience, so you get through the general barrier of ignorance. And maybe some people start before they reach this barrier, before something becomes a topic for the public. But also another thing, I'm a consultant. I want to support my clients in their success. So maybe my client can gain a competitive advantage when they get, when they detect a new technology earlier, because I detected earlier as a technology scout. The next strong point, number 2, is the personal contact. So a technology scout is here, could sit here in this audience, can talk to the people in the audience, but can also ask questions directly to the speaker. When I'm talking right now in front of you, there's less censorship than when I'm writing a book or when I'm writing an article. Also, there's no like barrier. So sometimes I might even say things just by accident, and some information slips through, and you notice it. So this is why having technology scouts is better. You have no PR department watching over the shoulders of engineers talking. Also, what I noticed with my colleagues and other developers is most developers actually do not publish things. They do not share their experiences, but they make experiences. They collect valuable information, insights, learning. And sometimes those tech events, they happen at their offices because their company is hosting those. And they tell them, hey, if you stay longer, you get free beer, you get free pizza. They stay there. I approach as a technology scout. I ask them about their experiences with technology X, Y, Z, and they tell me what they really think. They will even be more open to say, this technology is trash. I don't like it. It's the worst trash I've ever seen. So yeah, this is also another strong point. Here's this diagram I took from the paper of this professor, René Rohrbeck. And here you can see technology scouting does not exist in a vacuum. It's at the intersection of technology intelligence and technology management. And when you're looking at this, and you're looking also at the title, Scouting, Intelligence and Management, the first thing I'm thinking of is spy novels, the Central Intelligence Agency, or NSA. So there's also a part here about collecting information, identifying and assessing new technologies, and facilitating also the sourcing of technology. Another thing in the paper, so this paper, I really like it. It's actually just a case study, but he gives like lots of interesting points. And he also talks about the characteristics of a technology scout. And according to him, a technology scout is either an employee of the company or a consultant. So there's actually people getting paid for it. I'm not getting paid for it. So for me, this is not fulfilled. Again, a technology scout can be assigned full-time to the scouting task. I'm not assigned. I assigned myself, basically. So there's no sponsorship for me. But when you look at the desired characteristics of a technology scout, I think even if I'm not fulfilling it, I'm aiming for it. So being a lateral thinker, knowledgeable in science and technology, respected inside the company, cross-disciplinary oriented, and imaginative, I can definitely fulfill this because I'm usually annoying my colleagues with it a lot, but I also enjoy it. So to wrap it up, there are main goals of technology scouting. 4 is the number, and I also prepared some examples. So the first goal is early identification of technologies, technological trends, and technological shocks. Maybe you remember one of our highest technology scouts that we had in Germany, which was our chancellor at the time, Angela Merkel, in the year 2013, when she stated, "The internet is new soil for all of us." So that's where she did an early identification of a groundbreaking technology, and she was sharing it to her surrounding. So that's the early identification. Then the next thing she would have as a goal as a technology scout is raising awareness of the threats and the opportunities that are posed by this technological development. This could be like something saying, hey, perhaps we should consider getting a website. The next goal would be promoting innovation by combining technology reports with the assessment of business potential. So she could say, hey, or someone could tell her, could someone write me a report on how having a website can lead to increased revenue? Then the last part will be the facilitating of the procurement of external technologies. I mean, when I'm technology scouting, I'm talking to people who have been in the internet, who have dealt with the internet. I had personal conversations with them. I had like an impression of them. I know I can judge, okay, these are probably scammers. These are probably fine and decent people, and I can work with them. So this is the last goal that's achieved. All right, then what's next? So I've visited and attended those tech events. I want to continue doing that. But I also want to improve my game, basically, here. And that's why I also dive today into the theory of technology scouting, because that gives me a starting point of on how to develop it. The first thing that's currently most prominent in my mind is that I want to build my own website, because to consume my content, you have to read each single report, you have to open it up, you have to get annoyed by LinkedIn because it says log in if you want to see it. It's not convenient. And I mean, if you go to Burgermeister, you don't want them to give you all the ingredients separately, except you are monk, and then you might enjoy it. But as a normal person, you want the burger, you want the Coke if you order it. And that's also what I want to achieve with building my own website. Another thing is, I did not focus on a certain type of events. For me, the focus was mainly technology, because I wanted to get a broad idea of what's out there. Front end, back end, product management, visionary things. I was even accidentally at some event where only investors were present, and they were dressed in really expensive clothing and made me feel uncomfortable. But I've seen it all, and I actually like that. But I could maybe start focusing also just on data events, because I'm a data architect, and this could further my career there. Another thing I have in my mind is to assemble other technology scouts to a group of technology scouts, because my thinking goes, if I'm able to visit 100 tech events and document them and publish them, maybe if I have another 100 technology scouts, we can do 10,000 tech events. And just imagine you have a map like that one that I created, not for Berlin only, but for other cities, other countries, and you could add some additional analytics to it. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can analyze, and it would be nice to have that. Although in the beginning I did not actually want to build a community. Another thing that comes naturally with it is starting a technology scouting company. I mean, actually Gartner, the person, the multi-billion-dollar company, the guy who created Gartner, he started off with one-pager reports containing only high-level insights. So it's a path that someone has already gone. Another thing is, I left my 20s this year, and now I'm in my 30s. And I'm feeling this urge of writing a manifesto. So I thought, hey, let's write maybe a technology scouting manifesto where I can further develop my ideas. Another thing that's not only for me, but also maybe for you is I encourage you to go to tech events, to support them. I also put on some different layers of intelligence in my idea when it's about tech events. Like, I think you're already doing a service to the community if you're just RSVPing to a tech event, because it signals to other people, hey, there's an interest. Attending a tech event then gives like the organizers and also the speakers a good feeling. And then speaking at a tech event, I would say, is the next level. And the level I will probably never achieve is offering a venue for a tech event, because I'm scared of this bureaucracy and I don't want to deal with it. But yeah, so these are my 3 steps to tech success. Support tech events in Berlin, because we're living here. If you're not living here, still support them. Step 2 and step 3, everyone moves from Silicon Valley to Berlin, and we all get super rich and get all the funding from the VC to do all the fancy projects. Yeah.
Prices aren't worse enough.
They can get even worse, the prices, they should. But for the outsiders, not for the people who are already here. Bonus content, we don't have time for it. I'm skipping over it. And again, buy my book. Here are the chapters. I really took time, and I mean, just read them. Like Army of Zombies, Panic-Inducing Boredom, Pizza with a Stuffed Sausage Crust, Gourmet Bananas, Inescapable Poetry. I think you want to find out what I have written there. Yeah, so this is again the QR code. Dunbar's number, I'm not looking for friends. But I have still lots of capacity on my LinkedIn account. So this QR code leads you directly to my LinkedIn account. Feel free to connect. And maybe if someone interesting is there, I'm able to sacrifice one of my 150 social connections, add a new one. Yeah, let's see. If you want to download this presentation, here's the QR code to my GitHub page. There's also another presentation on it that is related to data platforms. So if you like data, you could also download that one. Yeah, that was 40 minutes. I'm through. Thank you very much for your attention. Sorry for the speed up.